Welcome to the Energy Roundup. This is a channel where we discuss the latest matters regarding energy in the UK and around the world. On this channel, we cover anything to do with matters surrounding energy. As this is a new channel, I would really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. Now carrying on with the video, in recent reports by Renewable Energy Developers, it has been revealed that they are facing waits of up to 15 years to connect their projects to the nation's grid system. Industry insiders and experts have spoken on potential knock-on effects this could have. They have warned that this will keep energy bills higher in the long run, while also undermining the government's ambitious clean energy goals. Reportedly, there are 671 renewable energy projects in the queue to be connected to the national grid system in the UK. This number included some that need to be connected to the Scottish transmission network. Adding to this, there are also hundreds of projects that are waiting to be connected regionally across 6 distribution network operations. When asked to comment on the matter, National Grid would not reveal how long it would take on average to connect a project, but did tell us that waiting times differed by region. They said the process of connecting to the electricity system was designed for a time with fewer larger power plants trying to connect, but it was working with the National Grid electricity system operator and OFGEM along with the wider industry in order to reform the connections process and make it faster. Sources close to the industry have said that it is now standard for developers to be told their projects would not be connected until 2030 and 2035. Dr. Andrew Crossland, a renewable energy developer, said that quite regularly you hear that you can't connect your project until the end of the decade or sometimes in the middle of the 2030s due to the fact that the grid is just not built yet. He also stated that connections were often slow, delayed and uncertain. However, this is because sometimes you physically can connect it to the grid for roughly 15 years even if planning allows and the landowner wants you to do it. Renewable energy developments have boomed in recent years, as the need for the cheap and climate-friendly energy sources grows. Earlier this year, Solar Energy UK, which represents companies in the UK energy sector, found that £1.6 billion of solar energy investment was blocked due to grid delays. The Solar Energy UK chief executive Chris Hewitt said in an interview that when you have a project you think you're going to be building in 2025 and you get a letter saying sorry, you can't plug this in for another 4 years, of course that's frustrating when you've got investors lined up. So why is this happening? One issue is the queue system, which is on a first-come, first-served basis. If a project at the start, or higher up the queue hasn't finished its development, all the others below will have to wait. In September, the National Grid launched an amnesty system, whereby stalled projects could leave the queue with low or no cost, but it is unclear how much uptake that will get. The underlying, fundamental reason is that the grid infrastructure has not caught up with the massive expansion in renewables, and in many cases there are not enough cables, poles, wires and transformers to transport electricity from one part of the country to another. This is bad as it means that the country's system of power lines and wires are not keeping up with the renewable boom. This jeopardizes net zero targets. Chris Hewitt also told us that the bottom line is that it comes down to investment and that energy regulator OFGEM is responsible for dictating how much money networks can spend on infrastructure and is tasked with keeping bills down. Some argue that the government could direct OFGEM to embed net zero goals as one of its priorities, or to provide some of the funding required to upgrade the infrastructure. In its latest round of funding, OFGEM allowed for £22 billion in investment for the regional electricity network companies, 11.8% less than the £25 billion they asked for. In December, the energy regulator released a new strategy for speeding up investment in power lines, which experts say could help. Mr. Hewitt said OFGEM's overwhelming drive to keep bills down was in the short term keeping bills higher for longer, because UK households remain tethered to expensive gas. People are facing record energy bills this winter, as the price of gas coming via international suppliers such as Norway and Russia has soared due to the war in Ukraine. Although the UK does not rely on Russia for its supplies, the country's decision to restrict gas supplies to some European countries has led to higher demand for other suppliers, which in turn has pushed up prices. Renewable energy developments have boomed, and a massive queue to connect to an underperforming grid is becoming the biggest roadblock facing green energy, experts say. Chris Hewitt said, "We need to improve production of renewables for 2 big reasons. One is for climate change. We need to decarbonize to stop burning gas and to stop dangerous climate change. And 2, because the price of gas is so high, the quicker we get renewables, which is 9 times cheaper than gas, into this market, the quicker we can drive down people's bills." A spokesperson for the National Grid described the UK's electricity grid as one of the greenest in the world. Record levels of renewable power, including growing volumes of offshore wind, is already connected to our transmission system powering our homes and businesses. The spokesperson referred to the government's British Energy Security Strategy published in 2022, which aims to decarbonize the power system by 2035, saying it was a welcome step towards net zero. However, putting these plans into reality means connecting these new generation projects to the national network, a complicated technical process and substantial investment. He said the electricity system had transformed in a relatively short time to include the demand for renewable energy and storage, but the process for connecting to the electricity system was designed for a time with fewer, larger power plants trying to connect. This is why we are working with National Grid ESO, OFGEM and the wider industry on reforming the connections process to get projects connected as soon as possible. A government spokesperson for the Department of Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy, BEIS, did not respond to questions about future spending on the national grid. Instead, it said the government was working with various agencies to speed up connections. We continue to support more renewable projects to come online, as clean, more affordable energy brings down costs for consumers and boosts our long-term energy security. It is vital that the electricity network can manage a significant increase in demand, which is why we are working with OFGEM and network companies to build new network capacity and speed up the connection process, the spokesperson said. Many people who pay bills are under the impression that these are controlled by your energy company, however, they are also controlled by the district network operators. As part of its net zero climate targets, the government has committed to decarbonizing the power system by 2035, transitioning the electricity system so it is based on green technologies such as wind, solar, and hydropower. This, decarbonizing the electricity system, needs to get done, and it needs to get done quicker and before other things, Dr. Wilson said. A spokesperson for the Energy Networks Association, the organization which represents local energy networks, pointed to issues around planning and regulation in response to questions about underinvestment. In order to more quickly connect more renewable generation, we need three things. We need continued innovation and flexibility, investment to enable network capacity in anticipation of future need, and a coordinated and accelerated planning system which brings together local and national ambitions, the spokesperson said. Rishi Sunak has doubled down on the goal, announcing the UK would become a clean energy superpower. In recent weeks, his government scrapped a ban on onshore wind farms by releasing a consultation on the issue. Energy experts, including the University of Birmingham's Dr. Grant Wilson, say decarbonising the power system was essential to cut carbon emissions and to allow for a move to electric vehicle fleets across the country, and for heat pumps backed up by low-carbon energy. Thanks so much for watching till the end. Please like, comment and subscribe and turn the notification bell on so you never miss a video. See you next video.